Hi, Carol here. A wonderful warm welcome to my craft room. It is so nice being back on my channel. I have had a very rough month for the month of March as far as my migraines and of course the flu. This is La La Land Looking Sharp stamp set, and I'll explain why I'm using this when it is an LDRS creative inspired project, but I'll explain that to you. So anywho, this was a card that actually turned into a canvas, and you'll see why as we get going. And I thought you would enjoy just a little bit of coloring as we go on. It's going to be a long tutorial, of course. What else? I mean, I am infamous. If somebody says long tutorials, I hope that my name pops up. Yeah, they go together, you know, like bread and butter. Long tutorials, Carol Held. Yeah. Anywho, yes, I am so very excited to be back into my craft room and putting this tutorial up. I have been working on this tutorial for a long time, at least 3 weeks. A little bit at a time between migraines, and if you're a migraine sufferer, I have compassion on you because our weather has been fluctuating, and mine are barometric pressure migraines, and they put me down for a long time. And then I had the flu. It was a viral infection, and we could not get to the bottom of it, so I was down and out for some time. So it's great to be back, and I look forward to some really good fellowship together as we craft in my craft room. I almost forgot how to edit. Yes, I sat down today actually all afternoon and did the edit, and my, if you get away from something, you know, it takes you a bit to get caught up. Now, I did these little porcupines. Are they not cute, from La La Land? And I did this for a card a long time ago, and I had it you know, in my stash. And you know that I am I'm not shopping, I'm crafting out of my stash. So this was in my stash in an envelope that I had set aside, and I thought, you know what, as soon as the card had to turn into a canvas, these little critters popped up, because my main stamp set is polka doodles in a pickle. And I'm going to leave a couple of cards. I'm actually going to show them to you because LDRS Creative has the most beautiful animal critter stamps ever. I love them. And this in a pickle by LDRS Creative was sent to me by my friend Pam. Thank you, Pam, in a gift, and I did show it on YouTube. And I thought, yes, I'm going to do a card with it. That was my goal. Look at me coloring here. I changed these little critters, animals, porcupines up so much. Yeah, I knew I had to put these little spiky things all over them because they are porcupines. And I thought they were just as cute as a button. And I really loved, here I'm just using my, I think that's the little Nuvo thing, that just like, I'm doing this at night, okay? This is really late. So you never know what's going to happen when I do my edits really late. And my brain is seriously shut down. I'm having to wake it up. Come on, we're crafting. Wake up. I have some funny stories to tell you too later on, because we haven't been crafting together for a month. Can you believe it? When I looked at my last tutorial that I had put up, it was a month ago. Here this is all Copic coloring, of course, and I wanted this little gaffer to have legs. Either I cut the legs off and I had to add my own legs, and when something is really tiny, I use my 0.5 marker. This is a Staedtler pigment marker, so it's good with Copics, and I'm just outlining you know, I had to fussy cut it, obviously, and then I put his legs on. I would have to go and look and see if this little guy had legs. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that right now. Hold your coffee for just a minute. Well, of course he had legs. I just went and looked. They all had legs. I mean, what porcupine doesn't have legs? I don't know. All the ones I've seen on our farm, they had 4 legs. So I must have cut it off. Well, let's get going. Yes, I'm using quite a bit of this white pen, aren't I? Wow, this is amazing. And you know, I love using that. And I outline all of my stamped images. If I can think of it, I do that. And this is the Uniball Signo white gel pen. And I have to have the eyes pop out. And you know what? Oh, I did this so long ago for a card and then set it aside. It's really funny because if you look at all the other legs, they're nice and chunky. I really like them. And there was 5 porcupines in this set. So I said, why not? Let's do them all on this card. And then I ended up not doing the card. Here you can see that I am outlining all of it. The reason why I used the Staedtler 0.05 marker when I did that small object, this is a little camera that I'm doing here, is because sometimes if you use your black Copic, or I like to use the T9 in the dark gray, because I find black is, you know, the dark gray looks much better than using the black, but it's very easy to slip. And if you have, you know, in my case, those legs, if I slipped, I would have had black legs because there was no room to, you know, for error, so to speak. So here I am just having fun, just making little, I like the guy, the little porcupine with, I like them all actually, but I like the one with the umbrella, and I like the one over there with the camera. I like his little pics, you know, and oh, so cute. That's what my grandchildren used to call their papas when they were little. They would rub his beard, like, you know, and go, oh, Papa, you've got pics. Yeah, just brought back a memory, so I had to share it with you. And this is the Nouveau Glaze. That's what I meant to say before when my brain shut down. It's like glossy accents. And I'm just, you know, putting it on his nose and the glass front of the camera. And yeah, I was really happy to remember that I had these in my stash. I love stash shopping. I think I started January 1st and I was going to go to April 1st. This is just the balloon. I'm just trying to make it so it looks kind of clear and like a balloon, kind of like a see-through balloon. And you'll notice that when you do this and you add the, well, Nouveau or the crystal glaze or whatever it is you're using, it kind of changes color until it dries. So let me just tell you this story. I lost all my scissors, like these good scissors, these, I don't know if it's Ginger scissors, that's what I call them. Ginger? No, it's not. It's Ginger, I think. I love these scissors, and I had put them in my stash in such a good spot. I didn't know where they were, and I'm telling you, every time I went to look for something the last few months, I thought of them, and they were in, obviously, the last place I looked, but they were in exactly where I put them. How's that? I can't even think of a good excuse. Anywho, so here I am. I'm using the Ink 3, the nice and black, and I'm using my 140-pound cardstock. And I wasn't quite sure what medium I was going to use with this In a Pickle stamp. So I did it on the 140-pound cardstock weight that I had. I'm just cleaning it up a little bit. I just tap it, and then when it dries, I don't drag it because you can get those little pieces of baby wipe or whatever stuck in between. I don't like that, so I just tap it off, and yeah, that's it. So I want to have that close to me when I'm coloring, but then all of a sudden I remembered, you know what? I wanted to do it with my Inktense pencils, and I didn't want to use, I wanted to use, it is Inktense for a reason. It's the Derwent Inktense pencils, and they are super saturated ink in a pencil. And the thing that why they stand out is because, and you're going to love them, is because they're ink. And you have got to, when you're spreading it and it dries, it's not going to what's the word I'm looking for? It's not going to, it dries, it's ink. Yeah, it's ink. So it's not, yeah, I'm picking out my colors as I'm looking at this. Once it's laid down and it dries, you're not going to be able to wet it and spread it. That's what I call a wet and spread. You can't do that with Inktense pencils. They dry. So I'm going to show you what I do to resolve that problem if you want to move the ink and spread it. So I started out on my 140-pound cardstock. I sure did. And I thought, okay, let's get this down. I'm right into it. I think I actually tape it down either on this or my 140-pound watercolor paper. And you know I love to use super, super duper sharp pencils. So I have my electric pencil sharpener. I do have a heavy hand, so I have to be careful. As you can see, always blow the pieces that fall off away, or you're going to spread it, you know, with your hand. So I use that little dollar store blush brush to get them away, or I just give a great big and blow it off. How do you like that? And it's gone. Yeah, so here I am spreading it, and I'm thinking to myself, this is a very good object lesson right here. You can see how when that ink dries on the bottom, okay, it's not going to move again when you put water on it. So I switched over here. So here's my beautiful Inktense pencils in my beautiful thrift store glass vase. I've got my water thingy there on the left and my water well. And now I'm using like a Versamark, my LDRS Creative Versamark. And it's actually called, it's right here, Watermark. And I decided to use beautiful silver, a beautiful silver embossing powder. So I'm just going to, this is 140-pound watercolor paper, I did say that right. So I'm getting ready to do it with this, oh boy, sorry about that. Ooh, I even backed up. I didn't know what I was doing to myself there. Yeah, I'm fanning it. So yeah, I wanted it to be, there's my, tape. I knew I was going to tape it down. I wanted to get as close. This is really nice when you're working with LDRS Creative because their packages are all colored in. Yeah, so here we go. I am using my water brush. I love using a water brush with these Inktense pencils. And you'll see why. I have total control when I do this of how much water I'm going to use. And you'll notice that when I go pencil to paper, I know that's going to stay right there. I'm not going to be able to spread that a lot. So to get control, I use my watercolor pen to the actual pencil lead because it is intense ink. Okay, it's you know, you can move it right away somewhat. And I know some people get frustrated because once it dries, you can't move it again. So what I learned over time is I take my water brush to the pencil if I want to have, you know, the mid-tone. You'll see how I'm doing that. I'm rubbing it right on to the pen. And that was a super change for me. Like that just changed up the whole plan of coloring for me when I thought, you know what, that's how I'm going to color from now on. I'm going to take, with my Inktense, I'm going to take the ink from the lead because it's so crazy intense with this ink. So once you put it down, it's hard to move it. But if you're going to be the one that's in control of it, like, no, you're going there. No, you're not. I'm moving it. And if you, that's what I'm thinking to myself as I'm coloring. If you go to the pencil lead with your watercolor brush, you will see a big, big difference here. Yes, because I'm controlling how much I am putting down. But if I color right onto, let me say it for the 100th time, right onto the cardstock, this is watercolor paper, it's hard to move around if you make a mistake. So I'm just trying to make this balloon, this hot air balloon. Isn't it gorgeous? I want to get that roundness in it, and you'll see how I do that. And it's just creating the white in the center, and the left side I put the white. Yeah, I don't know why I did that, but it did look good. It did look like I meant something really exciting, didn't it? How I'm pushing it together. Yes, there's my Inktense pencils. Oh yes, once I use the color, I turn the pencil, excuse me, I turn it over so I know that that's the pencil I'm working with. So if I have to do something else and I come back, I don't want to dig through, oh, what color was that? I just turn it over and I can see the color, the one that has the color on the top, that's the one I used last. And then when I'm finished with that color, I'll put it up so that the lead is at the top. So that's how I work, because I forget things, and you know, time is valuable when you're old. That's my new motto. Yeah, I can't believe I'm going to be 65 in May. I was just telling my husband that. Whew, where has time gone? So here we go. I'm going to do a light wash on this first. With Inktense pencils, I thought if I make it light, I can always add to it, but you cannot take away with Inktense. You can't. It's ink. You know, it's like dipping into an inkwell and then putting it down and thinking you can spread it later. And my paper towel is my best friend when I'm working with Inktense pencils. The water brush is wonderful, and if you grab it right away, if you think it's too dark and you can't deal with it before it dries, my friends, yes, dip into it. I'm back. It's early morning and we are going to continue on with this tutorial. Now, a friend of mine asked to see my kind of business card that I have, and I wanted to put it up nice and slow there for her so she could see the size, standard business card. And I did it again. I sliced into it and I lost it, so I guess the piece that I sliced off generously came back for me. Yeah, but that was so fast. So there you go. I hope that that helped you to see the concept of a YouTube business card. I leave them when if I go to a restaurant or I'm out shopping, I give them away at craft stores, and introduce myself to everybody that's in Michael's or Hobby Lobby, and invite them to my channel, and give them one of my cards. So anyhow, we will get back, and you just buy them at your local stationery store if they have a business card section. Most of them do. Most of the big places do. So here we go. I'm just going to, I want to explain the reason why I did a few things back in the tutorial. When I want to add more color, and then my color is intense, it's a brighter color, but I need to add, tone it down or bring it up even more, I don't go over the same color. What I do is I take the Copic, you can go to a warm gray if you like, but if you go to the warms, you're going to want to go to at least a 4, a 3 or a 4, a W4 or 3, and go over the color, because it'll just push it down. It'll push that bright tone down with the gray, the light gray. I mean, you can use a tea, you can use I like the warm grays to tone it down, and but I do use whatever's closest to me, and I don't know what I'm searching for a color there. And another thing I want to explain why I go brush to pencil at times, because you'll see me actually go right on. If I want an intense color, I take the pencil and go directly right to the paper. Spit it out, Carol. To the paper. But if I want to move it, I'm going to go to, see, I wanted some direct color there, and I know once that dries, and you can force dry it with your heat tool, and that way it's not going to go anywhere, and you don't have to keep working it on the paper. If you don't have a thick watercolor paper, then that is a good thing to instantly, and I'm talking working with Inktense pencils. I know that they can be frustrating at times because you're changing over from, let's say, a wax crayon to an actual ink. That's the key with ink tints. They're an ink, and inks don't spread once they dry. And once you get the, you know, once that kind of hits the old brain cell, you understand the method, and then you experiment whatever works for you. This works for me, going from pencil to paper. And then I pick out two generally, because if I'm going to the pencil, I can make a mid-tone without having three pencils. So I'll use a light and a dark, and then I'll mix my own because I'm taking my water brush to the lead. And yeah, so you're really in control. And you know, I do like to be in control in certain aspects. Now, there's that bunny rabbit right here. Let me see what I'm doing here. The fox has his little arms hanging down, but see that what I'm working on here? It's his tail. It's the bunny's tail. And I thought, okay, I'm having a little issue there. I don't know what color to make it so it stands out, whether I want to go with the gray. So I'll go over and I'll color these little bows. Well, at the bottom there, I don't know if you can see it with the embossing, it has some dots. Now there's the basket on the left side of the fox's tail. Now see what I did right there? I made a square out of those little dots. That's why I stopped right there. I'm going, what is that? I don't even know what that is. Like, that's not, what did I do there? And that's because I connected the dots, because in the stamp set, it just has little dots floating in the air. And yeah, I'm like having a losing my mind kind of a time there, you know? And I'm thinking, okay, I got to get that out of there. That is not the box to the hot air balloon. I went back in time and started connecting the dots, you know? So I'm just sitting there having a little soliloquy. And that is just a fancy word for talking to yourself. And I'm thinking, Carol, you got to get that out there. So I'm working with a white pencil, you know, with whatever I could get a hold of to get that connected dot thing out of there. Because as you can see by the fox's tail, so I thought, okay, what do I have to do here? I have to make another bow. Yeah, when you make a mistake, you know, and then I have to box off that actual cage that they're in, you know, the hot air balloon basket. I don't know what happened there, but these things happen all the time to me. I think I went over, yeah, this is the white Inktense pencil, so that's awesome. I did whatever I could, but then I realized I'm going to do a blue sky background, because remember, this was a card, and it was the funniest card, honestly. I'm used to making large cards. I love large cards, but it was large in the sense that it was super long in length. And then I kept chopping it off, and the more I chopped at it, the worse it looked. And I thought, wow, you know, I'm going to have to pay $45 to send this in the mail. Yeah, make my own envelope, but I'm telling you, it was hysterical. So I just went at it like it was going to be a card, and here we go. I left the bunny tail. It's kind of like the fox is hanging on to that bunny tail. Do you see that? And I tried a lot of things. I tried to use what is it here? The applique, the snow applique, but I didn't like it because, you know, I just didn't like it. It didn't go with it. And then I tried to use my, you know, poofy stuff, that poofy powder, and it didn't look right either. But at the end, if I remember right, I did put a little bit of that down. I could be wrong because it's been a long time since I've done this tutorial. And whenever I'm even speeding it up a bit here, I'm thinking my way through. And you can see I'm always going over and pouncing it with the paper towel. And it is a control thing. It is a control thing. I'd rather do it soft and light at the first time and then add color to it, which I will later on the elephant. These are so cute. I mean, you have a teddy bear, an owl, a mouse hanging down there, a bunny, a fox. you've got it all right there. And they're floating in this gorgeous hot air balloon. And I've had this sitting here since Pam sent it to me in that gift box, wanting to use it. And I thought, oh, now's the time, you know. And while I was on bed rest there, I'm telling you, when you make cards, isn't this the truth? You're always continually thinking outside the box. You want something outside the box. You don't want, you know, there are so many beautiful tutorials on YouTube. Oh, there's the cards with the same animals, but this one is the elephant sitting in a tree. I made that card for LDRS Creative. I did one with no line coloring and one with Copics. And this is the same animals, but going up in a hot air balloon. Cute, cute. And I want to encourage you right now to go over to the clearance in LDRS Creative. You are not going to believe the prices that are there right now. And I'm talking $1. I'm talking, you can get $10 stamps, $15 stamps for $1, $2, $1.20. I'm telling you, now's the time to clean out that clearance if you love to color. So I encourage you to go over and check it out. I'll leave a link on my blog. I was talking about there as I'm coloring and you're watching me, I'm working on that tail again. I thought if I made the outside little fuzzies just a little bit darker, it would look like the tail of the bunny. But what was happening is it looked like you know, that the tummy of the elephant was sagging. It was about to give birth, or something was happening that I didn't like. So I'll go back. Now, you know that's going to dry. It's already dry, so I'm going to have to work with that later on there. Because you can see the two nice big feet of the elephant and then that puffy tail. So I have to deal with that because it doesn't look good. So I'm going to go on with the owl. And I'm looking at the picture, the colored picture, just to get some inspiration, you know. There's nothing wrong with that. And it does speed up your coloring if you're looking at something else that's already colored, right? So here we go. And let's see how the month has been. Can you believe a whole month and I haven't been on YouTube? I think of it every day. And in my mind, I was in a brain fog. I could not come up with anything. If somebody was to, you know, say, I'll give you $1 million if you come up with something different, I couldn't have. My mind, something about that flu, that whatever it was that I caught there, I just always was trying to think of new creations, you know, to get inspired. And I was in one of those ruts, and it's a good thing when you're in a rut. It's a good thing to be in that rut when you're not well, because then you don't feel so bad. It's terrible to sit in your craft room and you can't come up with a concept that is exciting and different. And I was saying back then, there's a lot of wonderful YouTube coloring tutorials out there to be inspired as far as coloring is concerned. And I try to, you know, promote going to other channels and checking it out because, wow, talent, talent, talent out there. It's wonderful. So we don't lack for the talent in that, but I try to think up things. Here I'm making the sky. I'm dragging some of the blues down. I want it light, and you know I like to have the rough edge, the water edge. It'll come to me what the name of it is. And then you have to check out all the little holes that are in the actual image, you know, to get the blue in there. So I'm going around and I am, sometimes I don't like to squeeze the water out of the water well because too much water will come out. That's why I keep the water pump thingy thing over there so that I can just grab some water like I did just there. And then I like to let it dry because we're working with ink, remember. So once it dries, once it dries, it's there. So add a lot of water and take it off with your napkin or your tissue paper or your whatever you use in there to sop up the water. And it's not looking that bad there. I do have to brighten up some of the animals, but I do that later on. I don't worry about that right at the beginning. I love to go back and, you know, do any touch-ups that I have to do. And I like to add, this is just different blues. Couple, you know, I just want to break it up there. I knew it was going to be a long card. And you asked me, well, how'd you know that, Carol? Well, I'll tell you why. Because they're way up in the air in this hot air balloon. So I have to give it some depth. And I wanted to work, here we go, I wanted to work in the rule of thirds. So the bottom grass area, I wanted it to be on the lower third. And I just eyeball that. And this here, let me stop before I say too many and. That'll put you over the edge, won't it? Just drag that pencil, the ink pencil, right on the paper and push off the water. And it makes beautiful grass. It really does. Drag that pencil, like, you know, kind of lift it up, but lay it down and push that ink off the lead. Then go back. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, it is perfect. Then I'll just mess around with it, you know, until I have to fix it again. Yeah. Well, I have to stop when I know it's exactly what I want. So here we go. This is quite large. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to have to add quite a bit here to, you know, I want some objects in there. I just don't want grass, sky, and the hot air balloon. I wanted to think, okay, now what? All right, let's start cutting it down. Okay, let's just start cutting it down. You need to have a bit of the sky there, Carol. So let's cut up the sides. I wasn't measuring here. Cut off some of the bottom, move out. All right, look at that. Now, I think this was, oh, I wish I could tell on there. It was quite long. I'd say 10 inches maybe, and 6 inches across. I decided to fill in that little space up there that was blank. And then I thought, okay, I can work with that. But remember, this is just the outside. I still have to make an inside and have at least the inner, you know, area with images on it, because I always do 4 sides of my card. But with this, I thought, okay, I can do 2 sides. I can open it up and have 2 actual images here. I can have this one going up in the air, and then I can have it cut out, fussy cut it, and have, what I was doing there, I thought of a stair-step card, you know, so that I could bring it up. Now, I was getting seriously like, ooh, what am I going to do here? My Coca-Cola came out, because I'm just like, what am I going to do with this super long card? So I thought of a stair-step, you know, so the grass was down, and we all know what a stair-step is, so I don't have to explain it. And here, that's where I took the liquid applique to make the poofy tail, so I'm working with that. Then I decided to get out my dies, my houses on here, and I'll leave the link to these. There's 2 packs. There's separate houses, and then there's connected houses in 2 packs. I think it's, I'm not even going to say, because I'm not sure, because it's upside down and I can't read it from here. And I'm going so fast. There's the one that's totally connected, and it's called Alpine. Isn't that terrible? It's going so fast. I'll have to just run into my craft room and I'll grab the name of it for you. It was Poppy Stamps, but I just wanted to make sure, and it's called Alpine Neighborhood. So I love having the 2 sets, because the one set will set on top of the other step, and you can get some step up, some 3D effect by having the A and the B set. And like I said, I'm taking off that applique right now as I'm looking at it. And you know that's the way I work. My mind does not do one thing at a time. I will be noticing little things. It's the little things that drive me nuts. I don't know about you. It's not the big things. It's the little things. And, excuse me, I want to make sure I get out my, it's enamel, black enamel accents. And there's my foam, that easy foam that when you die cut, that was too soft for what I want to do. I want to emboss this. I want that balloon to stand out. So what I did is I pressed down firmly with the large ball end of my stylus. And that way I could turn it over and emboss it. So to know where you have to go on this, you're going to have to use the small side, push down on the image in the front. Then when you turn it over, you're going to see those marks. See what I mean? And then you're just going to press inside them. So whatever I want to stand out. Now I want that teddy bear's head to stand out. And I think I'm going to slow this up. So here we go. I put my thumb over to see how far I want to push in. I want the eyes to be embossed. So you saw what I just did. And because it's 140-pound cardstock, you can push into that with quite a force. I want his little trunk, so I'm going to mark it, turn it over, and then I'm going to press firmly into my foam to emboss it. And you can deboss as well. You know, it does, there we go. I'm just doing a section, and you can see I am pushing quite hard, but you don't want to push through your paper, so you can kind of judge it. I've been doing this forever to emboss certain images on the cardstock. I wish I had put it up for you to see. I was too close to the with my camera, but you get the gist of it. Whatever image you want to emboss and poof out, just deboss on the good side, then turn it over, you'll see the mark, and then push it in and emboss. And then you can feel, you know, what you want to have. Here I'm just turning it around, and I'm telling you, it does make a big difference in your image like this, especially if you have animals or a balloon. And I only did the pink of the balloon that I embossed, that I brought it way out, so it just gave it some of that pizzazz and 3D look. Now I thought, okay, let's distress the edges while we're at it, right? And see if that helps. Isn't it cute? It's so cute. And now I'll go back and I'll add my shadows. And I don't even go in with the pen, I'm pretty sure. I do a light touch with a nice point. And here I'm telling you how that rabbit's tail, I'm still working it. You can see I'm still working it. I grabbed my 0.05 marker and I did a poof out on that, which wasn't that bad, but I did have to whiten it out. So I got out later on my fluff, my white fluff, and I put some glue on it. Now here's my enamel accents to make the eyeballs and the nose. Now, this is not going to always come out the same consistency. So this is what I'm going to tell you is the easiest way to do it. Now, if you want to frustrate yourself totally into making straw hats, you can do it like this while it's wet and it drags everywhere. You are not going to be happy. I'm telling you, you're not. The best way, if you made a mistake and one eyeball is bigger than the other, and we do have one eye that's bigger than the other in retrospect, but if if you want to correct it, see how I try to lift it up when it's wet? No. Take your heat tool, dry it, then put your picky tool underneath it and it'll pop right off. I encourage you to do that. Here I am doing it the hard way. Of course I am. I'm doing it wet because I must have been in a hurry. And I love the sky on this because I, let it dry. It looks like clouds in there when I did the wet to dry. And here I have to, I'm doing a lot of work because I pushed out the enamel accents too hard. So I have to start over. And what you end up making are these gargantuous eyeballs, and you don't want that. It did work out for me here, but later on, when it dried, I just popped them off. And yeah, sometimes you can work with it, but I'd say 80% of the time you want to let it dry and then just pick it off. That is my recommendation. Now I'm going back. This tail probably took me an hour to make it look like a tail. So now, but you need that tail to look like it's attached to the bunny, you know, that he's just not grabbing a marshmallow out of the sky. It has to connect with that bunny, that it's the bunny tail. So I had to make it kind of join together. And I'm going back with my Signo Broad white pen. And now I'm going to grab that end. I'm doing the nose there. Make sure you have a paper towel cleaned up. So I thought, okay, put some on a pick and do it that way. There's all kinds of ways you can mess up. Right? You don't have to mess up just with the bottle container. You can mess up trying to have these fancy-dancy techniques that don't work. They just don't work. And yeah, oh, look at that one. No, oh, yeah, I dragged. Did I? I don't know if my glasses aren't clean. I can't tell while I'm doing the edit. It looks like I kind of dragged it a bit, and it looks like his arm is up in his eye to me. But I'll fix that. I'll get that down. You know, excuse me, sorry, excuse me. I always double check. With that virus came a terrible cough, and I'm just getting over that, so I apologize if my voice is very raspy and I have to cough. Well, here's where I thought to myself, Carol, stir up your gesso. Just stir it up. Yep, clean off the brush you stirred it with, and let's get into, I guess I didn't clean it off. I just put a bunch on there from my bucket. Believe it or not, I spilt this bucket. I was cleaning under the stairwell and I spilt it. Now this is between you and me. Oh my, shattered nerves. Yes, I went to pick it up and I didn't put the lid down, and that was a job to clean up on the wood floor. But I did get it cleaned up and nobody's the wiser, you know. Or you can just clean it as best you can and put a blanket over it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. I'm using a foam brush. I love foam brushes when you have to do a canvas. And what I did is I put the gesso all over it. And let me tell you the truth. You cannot see. I got it all up. I was there right on time. I got a towel. And here's my scraper. I'm just scraping off the excess so I don't have to waste any because of spilling a great deal of it. Oh, I had it. I think I had 10 towels that I was picking it up and putting it into a box. Yeah. Then those towels became rags. So, but I did get it all up, and I have a gray, dark to light gray floor. And I took everything out, and I worked a full day to get that cleaned up, believe it or not. So here we go. We're going to, and I did use plastic gloves, as you can see there. Yes. These are the small ones. So I probably had Popeye muscles from the blood coagulating up into my arm. I can tell. Or else my hands are too chubby, and it was so tight. But yeah, I kept going with it because this is a messy job, and I didn't want to be scraping it out from underneath my nails. So I thought, okay, they're small. Come on, just have sausage hands just for a little bit. It's not going to kill you. And it didn't. Yeah. So here we go. I don't know what oh yeah, I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do? Am I going to put this full card on there and make, like, you know, floral design all over? And that wasn't going to work. Okay. Should I make it vertical or horizontal? I wondered there. Yep, I'm sitting and wandering and pondering, and I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, oh no, here we go. Once you start, you can't stop. Oh yes, here it went. I was on a mission. Fussy cut. My hands aren't the same as they used to be either. Can I just whine just a little bit here? Yeah. The fussy cutting isn't as fun as it used to be 5 years ago. I used to enjoy it, but now it's just like, oh, dyes are a wonderful thing. So I fussy cut this whole thing, even on the innards. I fussy cut it on the glass later on. And we're talking 140-pound watercolor cardstock here. So you have to be gentle and take your time. And it'll work out for you. It really will. And that's what I did here. And once you get your, I don't know, you can use a T6, T8 Copic marker and go around the edges, and it'll look wonderful. And when you get in the tiny spots, use a 0.3 Copic marker or Staedtler, whatever you have that's Copic friendly, and you can make the black lines in there. So here we go. I still had to cut in between the image, but I thought that's okay. I had to rest my hands. I left it a bit and I grabbed some of my Walmart white paint because I wasn't satisfied. I used that blue jean canvas and I could see the blue through it. So I just added some. I don't mind seeing some of the blue because when you see what I do next, it wouldn't have mattered if I put the white on it. Wow, wow. Wow, what a job I had making a night sky. I had to have a night sky. That was just, you know, I just said to myself, boy, a night sky. And then when I was going through my stash, see to the right there quickly, that was at a dollar store at Christmas time about 3 years ago. It was 2 lamp posts with the red bow on it, and then they light up with that little unit. I'm just grabbing another package of my foam in my stash, and I wanted to incorporate that, and I thought a children's night light, that would be awesome once I saw those 2 lights. But I just wanted you to see it because you won't see it. It's in a package. It's at my dollar store when nothing's $1. I think they were like $3 or $2.75, something like that. And I shoved them in my stash 3 years ago and never looked back until I started this project. So I thought, okay, let's get out my chalk paints. Now you have to add a whole lot of color underneath it if you're going to have a night sky, right? Because the black, it will be thin enough that you can see this beautiful color on a night sky. And you're not even going to believe this once it gets done here. I had so many bridges to cross to get this to look like it looked in my head. And this was not looking like, this was in somebody else's head. It wasn't in mine. As I was going, I was like, what on earth, Carol, are you doing? This is not, all I could think of was circus, you know? I don't know why. It was just like, yeah, it was just, I wouldn't even put the lids back on. I would just go take a break. I just walked away. I just thought, okay, walk away. And, okay, but anyway, you know me. I keep going. Now, tell me that isn't hysterical. I went to the acrylics here. I took the chalk paint and then I thought, okay, I'll go into some bright acrylics. I'll put some reds and then I'll put some blue here. And if you're going to do this, just from experiential learning here, I would not do them in circles. I would do it in back and forth motion. The motion that you're going to have when you put the black acrylic paint on it. But I didn't end up using black acrylic paint. I did, and then I didn't. Here we go. Here's where I did. I went over it with the black acrylic paint. Now, I wasn't feeling well here, so doing this was not helping whatever it is I had. A nervous breakdown. That's what I think I was having. Because I thought, oh, that looks like there's balloons in the back of the black. I went every which way. Look at me. I did. I went every which way. And sideways, oh, I made the wave. I did the wave going in different directions. No matter what I did, those balloon round circles stuck out. Okay, let's pounce it with a baby wipe. Yeah, and then take off all the paint underneath. That's a good plan. Can you imagine what was going through my head right here? Oh, Nellie, I don't know. My shattered nerves. It was like, okay, Carol, this is not good. So let's grab some flesh tone. Let's grab some flesh tone and kind of go over it. You know, where there's a will, there's a way, right? Where there's a will, there's a way. So I start putting in my black. Oh, yeah. The beauty of a canvas is you can just go crazy. You can make 1,000 mistakes, and I think I made 3,000 of them. And yeah, I don't know what those scrapes were, but isn't that a sweet, nice guy? This is what I do, folks. I leave it in for you because you're going to run into these problems. And you're going to think, oh, I've never seen anybody on YouTube make this much of a mess. Yeah, we do. I do. I'm not going to say we. I do. Then I went over to my Wink Estella, the black Wink Estella. And I thought, okay, let's fill it in with the sparkly Wink Estella. And this is where it came to me. Like one of those, what do they call them? Yaha or Haya or... It was a moment, a flash bulb, I'll call it. A flash bulb moment. I thought, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to make another mess here with the blue. Then I'm going to add some bright yellow. This is bringing back memories because I thought to myself, what on earth are you doing, Carol? What is happening? Is your brain shutting down or what? Look at me going. And then I thought, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I know exactly what I'm going to do now. I'm going to use embossing powders. So I sprinkled on the pink over the yellow. I did the silver, the black, and then the paint was wet enough that I could see when it dried, I was going to get a nice effect. So I thought, let's go crazy. I needed to get a box first. I needed a box. So I thought, I got to go find myself a box. I don't know if it was right here where I went in and grabbed this old box. But I just started sprinkling, you know, all of the embossing powder colors you used to have in your stash, that you do have in your stash. And I just sprinkled them all over the place. And I was having a blast. And I thought, this is what I want. This is exactly what I want in the background. So I'm going to keep going. I grabbed a brush and I just... you know, worked it in there and I poured it out and then I put it back on and I was wondering what was going to become of this. Like how many layers was I going to have to put in? I put white because there is white in the image, and then I put dark green, and then I put my fingers on it and I'm, you know, black, and then it's coming to me here. I'm so excited. And I'm thinking, yes, I'm going to get a night sky, almost like an aurora borealis. And I lived up in Thunder Bay, Ontario, up north. And the most beautiful skies with the aurora borealis that I have witnessed. Truly the handiwork of God. If you haven't seen one, you are amazed. Amazed. It's shooting colors in the sky. Just like a paintbrush was shooting these colors into the sky for your enjoyment. Wow. Just beautiful. So I go, and here's where the laughter happens, and I'm laughing my head off. I said, yeah, don't take a sip of your coffee or tea right now, because I put it in the box, as you can see. What was I thinking? I took my heat tool, and I let it get hot, and then I blew it all off. Watch this. Watch. Oh, I'm thinking, okay, it's nice and hot. The paint dried, Carol, underneath. The paint is dry. It's not going to stay. Look it go all over the place. Oh, I'm sticking to it. Why not blow it all off? Just get it all off. Let's start again. So, yeah, that's what I did. Oh, I got smart. I took my foam dauber and I took my 1 ounce jar of embossing liquid. It's clear, transparent, Versamark actually, and it's made by Ranger. And I squirt some out to the side, and then I painted it on, and I did the exact same thing with all of my colored red, yellow, blue, green, orange, lots of silver, white, and black on the top. And I went in different directions. I made sure that it stuck, okay? So I wanted to see some orange and some of that pink through it because of the hot air balloon. And it is, honestly, I was so excited here. It started to come through for me, and that's why I don't quit. That's why I'll take a month for my project. And I love the liquid Versamark. it's called Embossing Dauber, actually. Clear Transparent Embossing Dauber by Ranger. And it comes in the 1 ounce jar, like I said, a clear jar. I just squirt it out. It has a dauber on it, but I don't like it. It picks up things on the dauber. And I love the fact that I added the silver. I keep working it because that Versamark liquid, that's what I'll call it, you can just pounce it on with the pouncer to get more color, but I made it nice and thick, so it was going to stay. And I wanted that Aurora Borealis look in the sky. Now remember, I decided to make a nightlight, a child's nightlight, but as a canvas, you know, a hanging picture. Yeah, I'm working in my, I actually got up late in the night. One night I couldn't sleep. So I grabbed my house coat and I thought, I'm just going to go back and do a little bit with it. And while I was feeling, you know, I was wide awake and my cough was subsided, my migraine was gone, and I thought, okay, I'm going to need some white to this. So I was adding just a little bit of white, just to have that almost like a silver. It wasn't silver though, it was actually a white embossing powder. And I wanted to make it kind of uniform. And then I didn't do the edges, and now I'm cleaning up. I thought, okay, wasn't that fun? I think I stayed up for a whole 10 minutes. And then I started getting dizzy and I just couldn't do anymore. So I thought, okay, I'll clean up and get it all ready for tomorrow. Hopefully I am feeling a bit better. And yeah, I'm going to shut the lights off here. And that's my house coat we all call. It's my old Blue Bear. That's what my family calls it, Blue Bear. Oh, here comes Blue Bear. Isn't that pretty? Seriously, I'm shutting the lights off not to show you the canvas. I'm shutting them off because I'm going to bed. Yeah, but I thought, that is nice like that. I like it. Good night. I'm back. I'm clothed and in my right mind, I guess. Yeah. Now, as I was, well, I was clothed. Let's go there. I found this. I don't know what it is. I think it's bicycle reflectant. Something to do with the bicycle reflectant, if I remember back. I took out the metal that was on the inside. I'm telling you, you can use anything. This has been in my stash. I got this at a thrift store in a bag of craft goodies. And I kept it. I just threw it in, you know, I'm never going to use it bowl, and set it aside. And then look at that. A few years later, I grab it because I thought, okay, this is going to be a night light. I am going to get out my letters and I'm going to cut them out with my little B letters right there. And it's going to say night night. I thought a nighty night, but I wanted to keep it simplistic, not a long, lengthy thing. So I just took my letters out and I put night night. I was going to do nighty night, as you see there, nighty night. And I thought, no, it has to be short. Because at nighttime, if the lights aren't on, I'm going to have the 2 lights, but I'm going to change them up. You'll see. There's my little porcupines. And yeah, they're so cute, aren't they? There's 5 of them. I don't know where the other one went. Must have went for a walk. Here, I have to put batteries in it to get it going. And of course, I mean, I don't think it came with batteries. And there's the packaging. If you $2, see, nothing's $1. The dollar store where nothing's $1. And look at these. I ripped off the bows because it's not Christmas. Turned it on. Woo! They both work. This is so funny. I lost the top to this one day. I was looking at them. Pardon me for that email coming through. I was looking at them one day, and the top on the right one fell off on the floor, I guess. And I was cleaning and I was sweeping my craft room. And I said, what's this black thing? Now, if you know better, don't throw any little thing that you find on the floor in your craft room out, because it belongs to something. So I threw it in a bowl, and there you go. It was the top to that. I didn't need it. I told you the whole story. I didn't use it. But I wanted you to know, don't throw things out like that. You know, you are going to need them. And look at this reflective tape. And then I thought, while this picture's hanging in the little child's room, the night night is going to kind of, you know, it's fluorescent. It's going to shine. I think it's going to be pretty. And then I have to work in the colors, you know, get all my colors right and get the actual imagery right. So I thought, while I'm thinking of that, I'm going to cut the guts out of the inside here. On the glass mat makes it easy. Just hang on to it because it likes to move around on the glass. And I wanted to be able to, I didn't want to see white behind my night sky there. When you see it when it's finished, that night sky, I struggled with it so much. I know when you do an edit, you speed it up, and you know, most people wouldn't put all of the mistakes in because it, you know, it makes the video so much longer. But I don't mind because I make them all the time. And out of mistakes comes something even better, you know. And it worked with me. So I'm going around, I think this is T8, around the end, the edges. And be very careful. I should have turned this over. You don't want to do it this way because if you slip, you're going on the image. And I don't know what, I guess I was not thinking. You need to turn it and do this from the back side, because then if you push out, it's going to be on the back. You're not going to see it, but not me. No, let's add some more attention to this project, right? I don't have enough as I was going from card to canvas. And this LDRS Creative, oh, love, love, love. What is it there? I can't even see. I think it was a T8. Now I have to make some grass on the lower third. So I poured out some of my Versamark liquid, and I grabbed a makeup applicator that comes in your sponge box that you buy at Michael's there. I just showed you. And I'm applying it to the bottom half because I'm going to put some different greens on there to make it a grass scene, because I am going to use the houses. Back in the box you go, and sprinkle it all out there. Yes, sprinkle it, yellow, greens, white, silver, and make kind of like a sky. Oh yeah, just run it all over. Yep, get it out of there. Mess it up with your finger so it makes holes in it. That's just fine because I'm going to cover it so I didn't lose sleep over that. And we're going to push forward. Yes, bend the box. Oh, what is she doing? It's making me itchy. Yeah, I just saw that I had an email, so I'm checking that out. And now, once I get the bottom grass area done, I take my liquid gesso, just the little squirt out one. I didn't want to get my bucket out this time because I needed the room to put this on. And I'm going to use my black tissue paper. I had this left over from my teacher bags there. And I grabbed some gesso and I put it down. And then I'm taking my tissue paper, and that is going to be the outside edge of this wonderful project, this nightlight for somebody's room. I don't have any young children, but you know, it's here if somebody likes it and they walk in and go, oh, what's that? It's yours. That's what it is. Take it, it's yours. Not awful. Yeah. I have to get more people coming up to my craft room and taking some of my canvases. You know, I'm running out of space. Now, I know that this is for a certain room. This is not going to fit in. If you're worried about like home decor, you're not going to want something like this, obviously, unless your room is dark colors or green, or, you know, it has that bright green in it. This is not for everybody. Yes, can you imagine? I've got black tissue paper on the edges, but I didn't think anything else would look nice enough, you know, well enough on the edges, and it dried nice, and it suctions right in when you use the gesso as your glue, so that's nice. Anywho, I was going to tell you about last week. I one day out of like 3 weeks, I felt I needed to make some homemade chicken soup. And I have to say, it's my mom's recipe with some added features. And it is the best chicken vegetable soup you'd ever want to make. And if I have time here, it's easy. I leave you the recipe as we're talking along here. But anyway, I decided to make a big pot. Now, when I make stuff, I make a big pot because my family stops by and my family's friends stop by and yada yada. So I made a great big pot of chicken vegetable soup. And then I thought, okay, I was watching YouTube videos of cooking. Now, if you know me, my cooking days, I love to bake. But cooking days are, you know, I don't do a lot of that if I can help it. Yeah, just to feed my husband. He needs food. Yeah, once in a while we do need food. So I decided, I saw this cinnamon bun recipe, and I was so excited because it was so crazy easy. So I get it all ready, you know, and it has to, oh, sorry about that. It has to rest, right? It has to rise, rest and rise. That's almost what I do. I do a lot of rest and not much rising. I had to rest and rise. So it was, I thought, where am I going to sit this that it's warm? So I turned on our fireplace and I thought, I'm just going to set it up. Hunter was here, so he had his little suitcase. So I set the suitcase right by, you know, the blow vent on the bottom of the fireplace. And then I wrapped it up in a tea towel, and then I wrapped it up in a fluffy blanket. Here we go. I'm just showing you that I have everything. I'm trying to set it up here. Carol, you should zoom down on it if you, oh yeah, first I have to cut out more white houses, white and pink. So there, you already know. Let's get back to my story. My story's more important than this. So anyway, so then I set my big bowl of dough that had to rise for an hour, and I put it in front of the fireplace with that fuzzy, you know, fiber blanket over top. Well, my husband comes home, he takes his boots off, he walks into the living room with the fireplace on, he sees this suitcase with some blanket over top, and he puts his foot, he goes, Carol, tell Hunter not to put his stuff right in front of the fireplace. It's going to end up burning that, it'll get so hot it'll burn the blanket. So he stuck his foot down in the blanket, in my dough that was rising, and he slid it across away from the fireplace. And I'm there, no, 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 that's my dough. That's not Hunter, that's me, I did that. He said, you've got to be kidding, you did that? And I said, yeah, and you stuck your big foot in my bowl that my dough was rising. So anywho, I thought that was hysterical. You know, he just thinks to get it out of the way. So what do? You stick your foot in the bowl. Yeah, he couldn't see it. He was just sliding it. He thought it was just the blanket over it, and he had some toys underneath. Oh, it didn't rise. Let me tell you, it didn't rise to the full capacity that it should have, but we don't care around here. You know, if it tastes good, we devour it. So it was good enough to eat, and it gave me a funny story. So that was kind of cool. Hunter thought it was hysterical. So here we go. That's one of the days. And now you want to cover the line, you know, your line across there. So I thought, what, excuse me. He loves to walk on housetops. Yeah, he's a housetop doggy. And you want to make one up, one down, right? And I thought of putting that yellow thing, you know, that bicycle shiny stuff there. It'll come to me in a minute. And on behind all of the roof sections that are empty, I thought of that. Then I thought, it's not going to look right. Then I thought of putting it behind all the windows. And I thought, are you kidding? There's not enough time, there's not enough time in my life to finish this. I was working on it for so long. I just wanted it finished. Now, this is my bestie's little boy that I colored. And isn't he cute? But he was as tall as the lamp post. So, of course, I didn't want to put him there. I let him sit there. I mean, he was colored and it was nice. It was a little boy and I thought it was kind of nice. But, I mean, he was gargantuous. His head was bigger than the houses. So, that gives you some idea of not having something up there. You know, if your head's bigger than the lamppost, you should take it out. So I did. Now, sorry, I just had to have a swallow there. I get so excited. I put 2 of these boing boing things from Impression Obsession wobbles But you don't want to do that because they don't seem to wobble at the same time. So of course I ripped it off after I glue gunned it. Look at me. Look at, yeah, let's put a ton of glue on there, Carol. So I did that, but then it doesn't wobble like. So I ripped it off and ripped some of the sky right out of the corner there, right out of place. So I took one off, I put it in the center because I didn't want to waste them. And to cover my spot in case somebody looks down and sees that there's a boo-boo, I put a silver star I had in the sky. So I thought, pick all that glue off, go get that silver package of stars that you have there. And look at that. So it will shine in the night sky. It will just shine in the night sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star right there. And you have to put him on a slant because he's going up in the air. I left my glue gun too. Let me tell you this. I left my glue gun on for 3 days. That's not a good thing. It was my good glue gun. And yeah, there it is. Boing, 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 boing. That works. I was happy. Now, when you use this, if you find these at your dollar store where nothing's $1, it's fantastic. You have to cut a hole. You know, you're just going to have to close your eyes and, oh, you know, I hope this fits. And it has to come in from the back because I want my wires to be in the back. Now, you can put your wires in the front if you have something to cover it, but I didn't. So I had to remember to put this, the wires in the back and this to the front. So here comes the, you know, this is the electrical work, the electrician in us. Oh, yeah. There's no bounds with us crafters. We can do everything, you know, we putty. We do electrical work. We do it all. Yeah, don't let anybody fool you. We got her down. You just got to make sure you can get this down. All inside because it has to lie flat. And you know me, there's nothing worse. Like if that fell on the floor and somebody was showing it off, let's just say somebody liked it. And they hung it on their wall and then it fell down and you could see the guts behind this. Don't put my name to it that you got it from me, right? I wouldn't be proud of that. So I am going to cover the back. I just couldn't deal with it. Just knowing it would fall down and, oh, wow. Yes. But anyway, let's move on here. What am I doing? Oh, I'm going to put a glob of glue down to hold that in place, of course. Then all the way down that slice. You don't want that coming apart in the front. So just glue her down. And I really did like working with the navy. Yeah, just grab anything that's on your desk you're not going to use and wipe it clean. Does not look like, oh my, looking at it from the side. But when it's finished, you have to look at the long haul. You have to look way ahead, yes. And I have to tell you, I struggled with not completing this. I did. Oh, there was a war going on. Throw it away. No, you don't throw it away. Yes, throw it away. We all do that, don't we? Here I'm gluing the white. I want to ghost the pink. That's what I'm doing here. So I'm putting the white over the pink just to get a little pink in it because of the balloon. The hot air balloon has the pink. And then I'll show you how I work the orange of the fox into the picture. And you can do that because your night sky. Sorry, excuse me. Just took a drink of Coca-Cola. That's not good. And yeah, and you don't want to have a flying boy up in the air. Oh, yeah. So, oh, this is exciting. What I decided to do is cut off the other lamppost. See how I cut the bottom edge off? Be very careful. I bent this back and forth until it almost started to fire. Back, 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 back. And these are LED lights. These little lights, they don't burn. So you don't have to worry about it. And I took a precaution to make sure that you'll see it on the next thing I'm going to do. But I had my pinch, you know, my cutters. And I thought I was just about to cut down on it when I was going to cut the bottom portion off. And I thought, whoa, Carol, for sure you're going to cut that wire. And then the whole project would have been, oh, yeah, would have been on to stage number M. You know, I started A. And look at his head. It's bigger than the lamppost. Yes, I can't use him, but he is cute, isn't he? So fun to color. It's with Copics. And he's got a little slingshot in his back pocket. I love it. I just love it. So put a big glob of glue on this thing. You can set this anywhere. I decided to put it over, well, when you turn it around, it'll be on the left side but you're looking at it at the right. And I decided to just use that teensy little LED light, that little light, and I'm going to poke it through, and I'm going to have it shine through a star. But I made sure I put that plastic piece over it. I know it says that it doesn't burn, it's LED, but I like to take a precaution. Not that I'm going to hang this anywhere, but I still, if somebody does come in my room and like it, it's theirs. Yes. I will have it wrapped and ready in 2 seconds if they want it. Yeah, I do like it when I ended up with it. Yeah, I do like it. It's not that bad. It's a nice project. It's a different project, and it will fit in the right room. There's always a room. See how I put the plastic thing on it to make sure that I remember to make sure that that is on for safety reasons. And look for them, especially at Christmas time, obviously. You can pick them up, and at $2, and you want to do a project like this, you could take the lamppost right off and just use the little wee lights for $2. You have 2 lights. That's not bad. So you're going to poke that through, and I'm going to put that plastic piece on after I put down, like, I'm going to push it through the front to the back. I know it doesn't make sense now, but you'll see once I get this on. And then I looked at it and I thought, it can't stick up that high. I've got to put a back piece of cardstock on there. You're going to have to cut that. How am I going to do it? I already glued it down. Oh yeah, I did surgery, okay? I got my surgical clothes on, and I took my pinchers and I prayed and I said, please, Lord, I don't want to chop the other things off here. And then I don't know, I got insecure there, so I just bent it with the one cut. I just bent it because I thought if I pinched those off, I was really worried about destroying the whole light thing. So I just bent it down, and I'll glue gun that down. You're not even going to know because the main unit is high, right? So it's no problemo. And yeah, so we're on our way to almost being finished. I want to thank everybody for your prayers and for being concerned for me and emailing me to check and see if I was okay. And I hope that the rest is smooth sailing for April. There you go. So I had these stars. These stars are from Catherine Pooler's set, I think. Now this is in your stash, right? I had this wooden heart that I'm going to set my little porcupine. But I wanted to tell you that it was LDRS Creative inspired by the beautiful gift up there of the In a Pickle Polka Doodle stamp. And now it's going to go down over top of that. It already has the plastic piece. I cut around the plastic piece. I only used the top portion. The other portion, I'm going to save it. It's right over there by the pink house, I think. No, that's my glue. I saved the other little piece, but I did use the top half so that it wasn't... in the finished product, you will see how it is. I covered it with that plastic piece. And that's where I get my gold in. Yes, it's a gold star with another silver star with the circles. Then I went into my 4 billion bead collection, and I grabbed myself 6 little colored beads that matched the night sky. And I thought with that light being on, the beads would shine and it'd be wonderful. Yeah, the last end of creating. And then I put some glossy accents over top of it so that they would all stay in place. So right now I'm just using the Nuvo glue, but I did put glossy accents over top of each colored bead. And they were the same colors as what's in my beautiful night sky. So I'm picking the beads up, and I have my lights on, right? So I kind of play with it here and there when I'm doing it. So I put that up in the corner. I end up putting another little tiny star on the left upper portion, and then I put a silver star behind the lamppost. Isn't that sky gorgeous? I'm telling you, if you keep to a project, and I know it's difficult, trust you me, I could not see anything good coming out of this canvas. A lot of times I thought I wish I had stuck to the card. But you know what, at the end of it, I really did like it. And I think it will be something that somebody will like, you know, for sure, in a little baby's room. I think it's a cute idea to have near the crib and turn it on at night so there's just a little light. Or if you don't want to scare them, you can put it near the entrance of the room, right? Ah! What is that? Yeah, you don't want to scare your baby to death. And I did a boingy on this one. I faced him to the left because my balloon was going to the right. And I thought with the umbrella was such a cute idea. And then I have my little glitter porcupine down on the left. And it's coming together for me. And then of course there's a balloon little porcupine. And it's all goes with the In a Pickle Polka Doodle stamp by LDRS Creative. They're all little animal figures. And you do have to fill up the space, you know. Yeah, it doesn't go. I thought I'd stand, I think I stood him up on the top of the roof, but I'm not sure. I can't remember. Oh, no, that's right. I put him on top of the lamppost because you could see the slit that I made from the back. So I wanted to cover that. So I just put some hot glue and I stuck him on the lamppost. He has a camera. It's so cute. I put some glossy accents. I was thinking if this had 3 lights, I would have poked the light through on the camera, you know, so that it looked like it was taking a flash picture. Yeah, that's the way my brain works. Then I added 2 pink houses for contrast on the houses. Having all white going across there just didn't do it, cut it for me. And you don't have to worry about things being even. I like to glue gun my boingy things. Yeah, I faced this one in the same direction. So I like to glue gun it, obviously, because you're dealing with embossing powder there. So just putting normal glue on it, I don't think would have stayed in the long haul. There you have it. Flick it on, flick it off. I turned it off. And yeah, just checking it out. So now I die cut black, orange, and for behind my fluorescent letters. That's the word, fluorescent. You can't give me too much to think about when I'm just recovering here. It just overloads my brain. Yeah, we don't want to do that, right? So I put night night going across here, the black, the orange, just ghosting, little tiny bit of ghosting, and then the fluorescent letter on the top, and it says night night on the bottom. Boy, in the dark, I wish I could have got a picture in the dark. That really shines, that night night. Oh yeah, that's fluorescent. And I mean, it's for nighttime on a bicycle. I think with the metal that was inside the plastic, it must go around the spokes or something. I don't know. It wouldn't go around your head. It's too tight. You'd pass out halfway up the road. But yeah, that's my thinking anyway. So I'm going to quickly give you the recipe for that chicken soup. I have time. In a pot, okay, you fill it up half with water. You put a great big chicken breast and 2 thighs with the leg attached. You boil it for 2 hours. Then you sift out the water to get all the yucky stuff off, clean out the pot, pour it back in with 1 box of chicken broth, okay? And pour that nice box of chicken broth, you know, the large box, I don't know what it is, but pour it in there. Then you're going to peel some potatoes. I use the russet potatoes, and I peel about 3 great big long ones into cubes, and onions, and 1 whole onion, and then I use asparagus, and I chop it up. I use broccoli, and beans, carrots, and green beans, yellow beans, and carrots that come at Costco in that big bag. I put that in there, and everything goes in. Like, put it all in there and boil it for another couple of hours on low, just a simmer, sorry. Put the lid on, simmer it, then turn it off and let it sit there for the rest of the way. You just want to cook the potatoes halfway through, then cover it for an hour, and that gets all the juices. Did I say broccoli in there? And whatever veggie you have in your fridge, throw it in there. And then I put macaroni noodles. I put half a cup of macaroni noodles. And then I put a cup of the Campbell's chicken noodle soup. I put the whole chicken noodle soup, not with water, just throw the whole can of chicken noodle soup. That way you get the broth and the noodles. And it just adds a different look to your chicken vegetable soup. I throw that in there. So, you know, just empty out your fridge of all your veggies that are hanging out there that are just going to be ready to, you know, they're all wilted or whatever. They'll come alive in your soup. And that's it, my friends. It just is wonderful. The potatoes will thicken up. The macaroni will just, yeah. And then for spices, I throw a bay leaf in there and salt and pepper and steak spice. I just put a little bit of steak spice in there because it has all the little wee spices that you don't know what the names of them are, but it looks like you know how to cook, and so you just sprinkle that in there, and when it goes in the bowl, yum, yum. My family loves it, and I've done it that way forever. And I think the broccoli and the, did I say asparagus? Oh, that just the bright greens and the green beans out of that package is delicious. And it's just quick, 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 quick. I think only peeling your, and if you want, you can fry up some bacon and put it in there. It'd be nice flavor too, but I saved that for my chili. So there you have it, a quick recipe too. See that little star that's sitting right there? I'm going to put that up on the left hand corner. I don't know why I stuck it there. It's not glued. I know it isn't. And that silver one, I thought it looked so cool when the light came on to have it behind the light. It looked like a glow, when the light came on. Now I'm just working with the ghosting effect so that the fox color would be shining through. And I used the hot glue gun, and believe it or not, the next day you can't see anything. I started with the Nouveau glue because I knew it would dry clear, but the glue gun dried clear too, so it was a bonus. I was really happy with that, and it's easy peasy quick. So if you're anywhere and you find some stuff like this, and it's like 25 cents in the pack at your thrift store or whatever, throw it in a basket. I have a basket that things I think I'll never use. There, right there. Oh, when that light comes on, wait till you see it. I do show you it in the dark. Now, I had to cover it. Pink, never. Never, never, never. Don't go with pink. Well, when I was listening to that, that was rather demanding, wasn't it? Don't go with pink. If you like pink, go with pink. I don't know what I was thinking. I just thought it kind of wrapped itself around with the tissue paper side, so that's why I went with the black. Yes, you can go purple if you like purple, because it's on the back, right? I need to make that little cut for the flicker thingy dingy to go off and on, and we are all set. I'll mark it out and I'll cut it off, and we are going to have the back to this canvas. Thank you to LDRS Creative. I love everything that they create, you know that. And there is some goodies I'm going to share with you, and another project for LDRS Creative. This was just out of my stash, and it was LDRS Creative, inspired by In a Pickle polka doodle stamp there with the balloons. So thank you very much for your support. Thank you for subscribing and all that goodness. You know I do appreciate it, and I really appreciate your comments. I love to get to know you, to get to know my subscribers. I'm going to turn the light out and show you what it looks like. Look at that. Night, night. Have a blessed week, my friends, and we will see you later. Thank you for joining me today. Bye.